You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right. You are now listening to the Mike's Opinion podcast and watching on YouTube, Rumble, wherever you get your video podcast or video from. How you doing? How are you doing? You know I always want to know, how are you doing? You chilling? You doing all right today? I hope you are really. Summer 2023, it's about to wrap. It's about over. Labor Day is over. We into September now. Football season is here, and the holidays are soon going to be upon us. We're going to talk about, oh, it's cold. Oh, I got the snow. Oh, I got the ice. But it's all good. But I really hope you are doing okay. I hope you're doing better than okay. As a matter of fact, I hope you're doing great. I hope you're prepared. Start your shopping early. You know what I'm saying? Start that shopping early. You ever did something early and you just like, you when the time comes, are you prepared? You already got it done. So, in case you notice, like, I'm a little bit closer. Look, I'm still working it out. It's been 3.5 years in, yo. I'm still working it out. I'm still learning. This episode 172, I think. And I don't have the best equipment. I really don't. And I don't have a lot of space right now. So, my office got a lot. If I took, and y'all can see what's around me right now, it's merch, yo. I got a lot of stuff. I sell stuff, buy stuff, and y'all be like, damn. So, yeah, on my camera, I'll have to act like knock it over. Anyway, I would edit that out. Support the show while I'm on that. Any way you can. If you have a few dollars, be greatly appreciated. The GoFundMe is out there. It's in the show notes. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. If you want to send me a big box of cash, shoot me an email at mikesopinionshow@gmail.com, and I will gladly send you my mailing address. It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. And if you even don't have the dough or just don't want to, that's fine. I understand. But you can support in other ways. Help grow the show. Like, share, comment, follow, subscribe. Especially those you're watching on YouTube right now. Take just a second. Hit the like, hit the share. The subscribe, and hit the notification so you know when a new app drops. So appreciate all that. But if you're just wondering why my head, like, why are you so close, dog? Why are you so close? Also, yo, you can get some merch. Copy one of these Mike's Opinion podcast t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Link is also in the show notes as well. So, yeah. So last week, I made an episode revealing to the world that I am the one who started blunts. So if you're smoking a blunt right now, I started that. Yeah, listen to the episode. It's fully explained all there. Got quite a bit of feedback from it. Nobody's really just claimed like, no, everybody like, yeah, I don't really know. Maybe you did. Yes, I did. But anyway, today is a quick episode just on my observations on some sports stuff. For those of you that follow me regularly, first of all, thank you for doing so. And watch and listen regularly. I really appreciate that. But I'm a big football fan. I'm not a fanatic, right? I'm not a fanatic with it. Like, I can't tell you what high school player went to or even what college, nothing like that. But I like sports at the professional level. Basically basketball, football. I could get into some hockey, yo, because they knuckle up. You know what I'm saying? And hey, I'm a Neanderthal sometimes. It's not like that. I like to see the violence. I just like to see the spirit of competition expressed. Sometimes I like boxing. I like a lot of sports. Football, I love it. I love the hard hits. I love the plays when they come together. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing for me. So I keep abreast of what's going on. I don't watch like a bunch of the sports channels. I almost said their name. I'm not sponsored. I'm not saying nobody's name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't watch any of the sports channels a whole lot. I don't watch a lot of that. Sometimes I listen to talk radio if I'm in the car, sports talk radio if I'm in the car. But there's a few things that caught my eye this week, especially that I thought, I said, I want to talk about this because I'm always, want your feedback, right? Excuse me. I always want your feedback and your comments. I like to know, this is the Mike's Opinion podcast. I always like to know your opinion too. What you think? So the first one is Colin Kaepernick. God bless that child. And he ain't a child. I mean, he's a grown ass man, but he's still trying to get back in. And I never thought, just for the record, Colin Kaepernick should have never been out for expressing his support and his desire that black on black, not black on black crime, that cops on black crime ends, that the horrors that happen. Basically, standing up for the injustices against black people. I'm a black man. It would be impossible for me not to relate to that. I grew up in Harlem, in the Bronx, and I've traveled abroad. I've traveled all around the country. So I don't care what color you are. You just got to be dumb if you just don't, for one, think that racism still exists profoundly, and to ignore the horrendous, horrible, wretched tragedies, injustices of the past. So for him to express himself, and I know the other side of that. I just want to watch a game. I didn't come here for all that. Well, guess what? We didn't come here to be enslaved. I mean, we were brought here for that purpose, but I don't want the lady to clutch her purse when she see me and I got on a suit and I'm driving a nice car. And all of the other microaggressions and the subtle, I'm telling you, it's exhausting being a black person. Period. End of story. Particularly in America. It's at every conceivable level, from the smallest, most subtle, maybe even unintentional racism to the blatant murder racism. So being anti-patriotic, taking a knee during the national anthem, think about this for a second. Black people are supposed to be patriotic and love this country, right? A lot of times, I'll say, white people or certain people don't understand or don't choose to give it any real thought. If I know for a fact, and I do, as most all black people do, the lynchings, the rapes, the murders, the abuses in so many forms of slavery, and that my great, 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 I ain't got to go too many greats back, were enslaved. And knowing my personal experience and the racism that I experience, and how so many arrests, imprisonments, and murders by the hands of police happen because a person is black. I'm not even talking about institutional or systemic racism. How could we, in good conscience, if we respect ourselves, go, yay, America, America the beautiful? There's been backlash to Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is labeled as the Black national anthem, being played before the American national anthem at a lot of sporting games. Look, we didn't ask to be in this position, we being black people. We did not ask to have been enslaved and still experience racism. Redlining, people kill me. They like racism is gone. It's not. It's just not even close. You just really have to be dumb to think that it is. I don't mean to insult anybody, but I'm just speak candidly. I know this, and I don't understand it. So how could we be patriotic? A lot of us are. A lot of us are. A lot of us are not because we're not afraid to think and to know about the history and the current state of this nation when it pertains to racism and bigotry. So, Colin Kaepernick should have never been out. A lot of owners, and just think about that word for a second, owners, they can buy, sell, and trade humans still under the guise of sports. And yes, today, I say the top 20% of people in the league are very well paid, and the other ones are well paid. Most of them are minimum six figures. Okay. So I get it. But let's be clear, he's owned. So for Colin Kaepernick, I can't say his name, for Colin Kaepernick to be shut out, a capable, arguably competent quarterback in the National Football League, to suddenly be no team, I believe what this 32 teams, maybe don't quote me on that, but nobody's willing to take a chance on him. Well, that's why I'm talking about him today. Because the New York Football Jets may be in need of a quarterback. Because if you haven't heard, in the Monday night game, Aaron Rodgers, formerly of the Green Bay Packers, very first game that counts anyway, of the season for the New York Jets, tore his Achilles. Now, a lot of the players have been chiming in saying it's because they don't have real grass. They'll put in real grass for soccer games. Oh, excuse me. But they got this turf that a lot of players and scientists have said contribute to increased amounts of injuries. Maybe this was the case, perhaps, for a torn Achilles. Aaron Rodgers is no spring chicken. Let's just be clear about that. So he's an athlete. Achilles is used a lot, I would imagine. So Colin Kaepernick came out and said, I'm here. I'm still out here. I'm still working out. I'm still in shape. I can still do it. At 35 years old, the age, things that we can do at an older age, that age is increasing. Let's take President Biden, who recently at the G20 summit, and I'm getting older. I understand all that comes with getting older. I get it. I try to keep my mind sharp. I'm mentally exercised as well as physically exercised. I exercise a lot more mentally than I do physically. Um, but I'm in relatively good shape, still strong. But dear President Biden, go sit down. Go sit down. Please. At the G20 summit, wrapping up a speech, the president of the United States said, I'm going to bed. I don't know about y'all. Come on, man. In this wonderful yet horrible world we live in, and the current systems in place, We are at war or in competition under the constant threat of violence and war. So we have to project an image of strength. I'm sorry, but 80-year-old Joe Biden does not. He's literally stumbling all around the place. He's falling. He's making these constant gaffes and saying dumb shit or just shit that's just not reflective of someone that is strong, sharp, and that should be representing a nation. I'm not an ageist, but this is a very high profile, public, important job. And, I think of the Kennedys, rest in peace, Kennedy. I think of Barack Obama, even Bush the second. I mean, these younger dudes that's not 70s and 80s. You've had your time. And I'm not saying go somewhere and die. No, go live out the rest of your life doing something that doesn't require energy and sharpness. Y'all know I digress. I digress. You know I do. But it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? Colin Kaepernick deserves a shot. He should have never been gone. But I am curious. Hit me up on any of the socials or email me mike'sopinionshow@gmail.com. You can find the links to all of those things in my show notes. What do you think? Do you think Colin Kaepernick should have a chance? And it just sounds so desperate. Should he have a chance? He should have never been gone. But do you think he deserves it? How would the crowds react? How would the players and coaches and staff react? How all the writers and the shows that cover these sports, how will they react? It'll typically be yet another divisive decision that we'll have to make. You either going to be on the side for Kaepernick or you're going to be a side against him. All this man did was rock an afro and kneel during the national anthem. Do we not have the right to freedom of expression in this country? I thought we did. I thought this great Constitution, who was written, composed, and signed by a bunch of slave owners. There's so many obvious wrongs that exist to me. It seems illogical. And this is why the tagline for my show is Logic Unleashed, because it's unleashed here. We unleash the logic here at the Mike's Opinion podcast. And some people just ain't logical. They're showing their feelings or they don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I didn't ask to be born into this racist ass country. But you know what? I take it in stride. And I have white people that I love that are like family to me. I've never judged anybody by the color of their skin. To quote the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I've always judged somebody by the content of their character. More importantly for me, I never judge anybody by what they say. I judge them by what they do. People that are in my life. I look at actions because that, for me, really tells the story. Because people can say they love you or they like you or they want you around all day. But what they do is what really matters. I've had friends stab me in the back. We hanging out like it's all good, right? What they didn't match their words. I love you, man. I love you. Yeah, you love me? Guess you hurt the ones you love, right? Hmm. But let me know. Kaepernick. And why I'm on Kaepernick, because like I said, it's associated. Just a little bit on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay after many years, starting a new chapter with the New York Jets. And I feel really, bad. I don't know how old Aaron Rodgers is, but I just I don't know. I can find out just real quick. Um, how old is Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. Aaron Rodgers is almost 40. And I know Tom Brady, the so-called GOAT of the National Football League. And it's kind of hard to argue that he ain't, but pushing 40, torn Achilles, out for the season. Um, the National Football League and its game, the game of football, is a very dangerous one. It's a very violent one, albeit enjoyable. I like to see those catches. I like to see those hits. I like to see a good play. I like to see like a good running back, running back, you know what I'm saying, get through, hit that hole and be gone. I like the interception. I like everything about the game. I love the game of football. So while he's laying around, sitting around, which he may not do, he might get on his crutches and go on vacation. But when you got money like that, the world's your playground, right? Where I want to go today? Where's it 72 degrees? I'm gonna throw a dart. Wherever it's 72 degrees, that's where I'm going. Let's hop a flight. Let's go. Let's get on the yacht. It's a wonderful life, and us everyday folks who might take a cruise on a giant cruise ship. I ain't never been a cruise dude, and hope we don't get E. coli, but these multi-million dollar yachts, it might sound like I'm hating a little bit. I'm really not. But all I'm saying is the vast majority of us are not rich, do not get access to yachts and private jets and exotic locations and vacations and destinations. We grind 5 out of every 7 days, 48 out of every 52 weeks, and we are lucky to go on vacation one or two of those. The system is designed for most of us to be the labor force for the rich. And in case you're wondering, there's a reason why they can afford to pay these athletes now, what, 70s, 80s, hundreds of millions of dollars, because they got the network money, TV money, publication money. And there's a reason why that beer is $9 at the stadium. I used to have season tickets to the Dallas Cowboys. Excuse me. Really good seats. And this is when my business was thriving many years ago. Actually, it was the first 3 years they had the new stadium. I was out there, and it's nice having money. I'd like to have some again. Right now, I don't. Support the show, please. Um, but these people make lots of money, and maybe Aaron will take his time and reflect, and maybe he won't come back. But what I've learned about athletes, and I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, these ones that are older and seemingly have trouble letting go of the game, it's hard. That's all they know. Now, there's always the argument, the athlete versus the academic, right? And if you've been to high school, there's a clear divide usually, generally speaking, the athletes are less academically inclined, and the academics are less um, athletically inclined. Nature, right? It's just the way it is. The jocks are usually big, tall, strong, physical, wonderful physical specimens, but they may not be the smartest. Let's just keep it 100. The academics are usually scrawny, muscle mass next to zero. Excuse me. But they got that knowledge, yo. The brain is inside. If the brain was a body, it'd be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's that brain could do the heavy lifting. And that's just the way of the world. It's rare. I won't even say rare. It's just not as common where you're born and gifted or blessed, or however you want to see it, to have both. To have the body of an Adonis and the intelligence of an Einstein. Like, usually you don't find those that intersect a lot. So, positive vibes to Aaron Rodgers. I hope you think about it because it is a dangerous game. And I don't see too many 40, 45-year-old running backs. The quarterback position, maybe the kicker, those who get protected because you can't sneeze on the quarterback these days. I'm from the old school where you could pile drive the quarterback into the ground and go, next play. Now you hit him too hard. Up, roughing the pass. Anyway, I think the game of football should be left alone, but I understand the safety of these people. What is it called? NDE, and that's a near-death experience. I can't remember the brain thing that a lot of the older ones have. I think you should know you're consciously risking having physical and mental problems if you play football from pee-wee football up to grade school, high school, college, and into the pros, especially if you are in an active role in a position that requires constant contact, then you're going to be hurting when you get older. You're probably going to have broken bones or limbs or your bell rung so many times that it's going to affect you. So again, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, man. Um, I hope he's okay. Next, I'm laughing because my wife and I talked about this. Dak Prescott. Shout out to Dak and the Cowboys. Now, y'all know when in Rome do as the Romans do. I'm from New York City. I don't root for no New York City teams because I live in Dallas. I live outside of Dallas, have for many years. So I've been a Cowboys fan. Where Papa was a Rolling Stone, wherever he laid his hat was his home. Now I'm in a group chat with a lot of my boys from New York. All right. And I'll be talking mad noise. So the first game of this season for the Cowboys was against the New York Giants, the New York football Giants. And if you haven't seen the game, if you've been waiting, fast forward because I'm about to do a spoiler alert. Now the game was Sunday. I drop on Wednesdays. So 40-0. The Cowboys whooped that ass 40-0 in the Meadowlands, in Jersey, in the Giants' house. Special teams, defense, offense was running on all cylinders. They switched it up. The Cowboys did. They got rid of the OC, the offensive coordinator, young boy, started with a K. I can't remember, Kelvin something. I can't remember his name. But the head coach, Mike McCarthy, who used to coach Aaron Rodgers, by the way, he's calling the plays, and they kept Dan Reeves, even though he could have had a head coaching position. And Dan is still up in the booth running the defense. Yo, they need a stronger running game, in my opinion, even though Pollard did his thing. But 40-0. Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys. We them boys. Super Bowl bound. Who's to say? Cowboy, they finished the game well, even though I kind of fell asleep because the deficit was in. Plus, I had some snacks. So anyway, when I woke up, I saw most of the game, and the Cowboys used to have a problem with shooting themselves in the foot. They get up and then they be down, and they end up finding creative ways to lose. It looks like they may have been coached past that. Undefeated Super Bowl, maybe, maybe. That's not why I was talking about Dak though. Dak Prescott. I live here in Dallas. I never met the brother, but he recently came out and said he got a tattoo, big tattoo, memorializing his mother and his brother who are deceased. Big ups for the doing that work. But he got this huge tattoo. He says it tells a story. He got it on his leg, like a leg sleeve. You call it a pants leg? What do you call it? You call it a sleeve when it's on your arm because we shirts have sleeves. What do you call it? Call it a pants leg or something. Anyway, but he said he was sedated for 11 hours while he got this tattoo. Now, I was laughing when I first started talking about this story because my wife, who is tatted, I don't have any tats and piercings. I've never thought of anything I wanted on me permanently. That's me. There are several reasons, or many reasons, I would imagine people get tattoos. My wife has explained some. My wife is tatted. Okay. She's not overly tatted, but she's got tattoos. He still ain't got one with my name on it. But that's all right. There's plenty of other women that do have my name on them. Facts. But um my wife was like, you got to earn your ink. I was like, what you talking about? She was like, yo, you got to earn your ink. You can't be getting sedated. That's cheating. And I was like, for real? You for real about that? She's like, yes. She's like, plus, it's not even all of that. A good tattoo. Because I had showed her the pictures. And I was like, you are a tattoo prude. You're a tattoo snob. And she's like, look, it's just not. So I'd like to know from my tattoo people out there. Once again, hit me up on any of the social media. I'm all over the place. And if you want to email me directly, communicate with me directly, mikesopinionshow@gmail.com. mikesopinionshow@gmail.com. How do y'all feel about that? Because I'm thinking, is that right? You got to feel pain to get the tattoo? Why you can't be knocked out while you getting tatted? Especially, I'm sitting in the chair for 11 hours. First of all, I'm gonna need a break. I'm gonna need to take a leak, and I'm gonna need some grub. But I'm imagine if you're getting your leg done, you can eat while you're getting tattooed, right? But etching with a needle into your skin for 11 hours, like I've never been like, look, I've endured a lot of different pains. I'm not gonna go into what type. I'm just gonna say I was up there heavy in the streets. I have the scars to prove it. So getting a tattoo for me, I would never stop myself from getting one because I was, shook of the pain or afraid of the pain. I just there's only one time I even really considered it, and that's when my nana died. I thought about getting her on me, but I'm just as pure as the driven snow, yo. There's no markings. I ain't never had my ears pierced, nothing pierced, none of that. That's just me. I'm just not into it. And I really, I really don't date girls with a lot of tattoos. Of course, I'm married now, have been for a long time, but my wife's tattoos, most of them I like. You know what I'm saying? She don't like some of them. But I'm like, you can't really like they say you can get the laser, you can get them removed, but you still see scar tissue. To me, it's permanent. You live with that decision for the rest of your life. So that's just me. But let me know what you think about that because I'm very curious to think, to see what people say about that. Because I'm thinking I don't see the problem. What's wrong with getting sedated while you get the tattoo? Why you get that tattoo? Do you think that's cheating? Do you think that's not right? Is that wrong? I don't think so. Anyway, moving on. My last story today, and I purposely saved this for last because I got a little commentary on it. Now I already started some of that commentary actually, but um, it has to do with Deion Sanders. Big ups to Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, them boys out of Florida, they used to be, I believe Deion's from Florida, just flamboyant when he was in the league. They used to wear suits that I wouldn't have been caught dead in. But when you got money and the fame, you trying to keep the spotlight on you. I mean, Smith, all them boys used to do that, right? So he's been cocky. Some might even say a little bit on the arrogant side, and he's been talking smack. He's been prime time. So now, um, he's coaching. He's been coaching for a long time, and he's at Colorado. Brought his son in, wiped like 75% of the roster, 85% of the roster, rebuilt it, beat Nebraska last week, and just beat somebody else this most recent game that they played. And like I said, his son's the quarterback, and he recently he surprisingly left a HBCU, a historically black college, to take this Colorado job. So he's been talking mad smack. He has been representing black people well. He's been representing himself well. And I just like to see positive examples. Now, I use profanity sparingly on purpose. I just don't see a need to be continually profane. You know what I'm saying? I respect myself and I respect others. Now, profanity sometimes does have its place. You know what I'm saying? But excuse me. I was like, drink some water. By the way, I know what I got. Y'all see this? This water bottle? Take it out the sleeve. Take it out the sleeve. It's glass. Okay? Glass water bottle. Stop using plastic water bottles. Now they have water bottles with the filter built in. We have a filter in our refrigerator, so I get my filtered water from the fridge. I do not allow plastic water bottles in my house. I don't buy them. I don't use them. You do the same thing. Consider that a public service announcement from the Mike's Opinion podcast. I just thought about that while I was drinking water. Deion Sanders, with all the flamboyance, borderline arrogance, talking noise, is in a position now to guide, lead, and steer young men of all colors, but young black men, and demonstrate what it is to be an upstanding, responsible, good, solid black man. And I applaud that. A lot of people say he doesn't curse. Now, I can't recollect ever seeing him curse, but it was clear that he didn't curse in the recent press conferences. He said darn when he could have said damn a bunch of different times. Now, historically speaking, and you say what you want, maybe it's a conspiracy, maybe it's coincidence. But pillars of the Black community, men like Sidney Poitier, and if you're young, you may not know who that is. Bill Cosby, Red Fox, I don't know, Denzel Washington. When you think of what appears to be attempts to destroy their reputations, which doesn't take long to destroy. It takes years and years and years to build, but a minute or two to destroy. And I'm not saying these people were not culpable, were not guilty of whatever they were accused of. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it sure seems interesting. Like they haven't got Denzel. And I'm saying all that to say is, yo, Dion, if you ever watch this podcast, if you ever hear this podcast, and I'm pretty sure hopefully you already know this or got people in your camp, watch your back, man. I hope you're not doing any dirt that could be exposed, because they're going to try to find it and they're going to try to ruin you. In fact, it's been said that the whole football establishment, particularly at the collegiate level, is gunning for him because he didn't won 2 games. He wasn't expected to, and he's making noise. And Dion is not the type to go quietly and just say, "Oh, thanks, we want to appreciate it." He ain't one of them humble dudes. He gonna talk noise. He gonna be loud. He gonna say, "Yeah, this is us." But for me, it's something more important. It's more important than football, college football. It's more important than being flamboyant and being confident. For me, it is a clear example of what a Black man can be in this society in America, despite the excessive amounts of challenges, the constant, consistent, and current racism, bigotry, hostility, and anger that's always thrust upon us daily. I would like to see a little less flamboyance, but that's him. So I'm not going to knock it. I'm a confident, strong Black man. I've never touched millions. I took my company from zero to $1 million company, but those millions wasn't mine. Supplies, taxes, payroll, insurance. There was, a lot that went into that. But gross, my company was $1 million company. And I did that on my own by myself, and I'm very proud of it. Coming from the ghetto, from a single parent home. So that's what it's about for me. That's why it's big ups and applause for Deion Sanders. It matters. It matters. Say what you want about the rappers. Say what you want about the actors. Say what you want about the athletes. And I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Maybe they're doing a lot of charitable things. But just from a Black man perspective, our solid, positive role models are few and far between. And a lot of them do dirt in the dark. And there are many out there with a flashlight looking to shine that light so they can smear you and end you. So shout out to Prime, yo, for doing that. That is what I have for you today. As always, I hope you are doing okay. I hope you're doing better than okay. If you are not okay, get the help you need. Talk to somebody. Find a pathway to okay, and then from okay, you can go to good, and from good, you can go to great. And then you can reach your hand out and help someone else. Wouldn't it be great if we lived in a world where men didn't only seek power? Suppose as strongly as we sought fame and fortune and power, we were as aggressive in making sure every human being was safe and had adequate housing and had food and clean water, and we loved the environment as much as we loved money. Imagine that. What kind of world would that be? I'm gonna leave you with that. Think about that. Like, share, comment, follow, subscribe, do all that. Support the Mike's Opinion podcast. Copy your Mike's Opinion podcast t-shirt, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. The GoFundMe is out there, so you can contribute to the show safely. You know, there's no scams here going on. Watch the show grow, help the show grow. It would be greatly appreciated. Once again, I hope you're doing all right. I'm Mike. This is the Mike's Opinion podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for watching.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.